Goes quick. Yeah, hello everybody. We are slightly late.
Hello everyone.
Just now because we had a private chat, which was necessary. I just come back from hospital and received horrible news from my biopsy results, which I mentioned last week. So the ones who are watching the video, you already know that I've been waiting for the results. And unfortunately, they were not very good. So after I just had a cry for the last hour. So, but it's the reality, and I think there's no point hiding it. I see everything as an opportunity to face it as an experience. So the results are saying that I've got breast cancer, and it's in the developed stadium, which is already in the lymphs.
Lymph nodes, yeah.
And so the next step would be start with the chemotherapy straight away, as early as possible. So, yeah, so now it's out, and yeah, that's the state at the moment.
And to really just acknowledge the fact of just how important it is for you to finish here, to be here as the leader that you are, be sovereign, being here and showing up in this way. It was beautiful. Thank you for carrying on today. Yeah.
Yeah, like we just briefly talked about, it's like what we were talking about, like everything what comes up, it could be not the nice things, and this is not nice to hear that. But it's no point to go in a position or in denial or anything like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is for me the next step for my healing journey.
Yeah.
And I guess what got me the most was like when she said that it's like already in the lymphs, because that brought back the memory from my mother who died. She had 3 sorts of cancer, but the one in the lymphs killed her, basically.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, that's what really got me straight away, like brought back like the grief from my mother and stuff, because I supported her until she died and cared for her. Yeah, so that's what hit me the most.
Yeah.
So on top of like dealing with my like stepping forward now to develop my own healing journey, it just put back the past like of grief as well.
Yeah. So it made something much more profound that would have just been easier to handle now becomes a little bit more challenging in a different way.
Yeah.
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 And is there anything else that's arising?
Well, I don't think that there's ever any coincidence, so that's why I still wanted to do the session today and to invite in the supporter, because I can do it some support now. So very much welcome the supporter Beregini.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
and we were
like,
talking this. Yeah.
And we already talked today in the morning that I saw like a tree, the life tree in this, and you said you see a DNA strand in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, the tree of life is about reweaving and reweaving your DNA. And just when I saw it and immediately looked at it, thought, oh my goodness, this is doing the reading, but going in the circle around and around. Like when you look at the weird is never still. It's circulating. It's doing. It's in movement all the time, and that gives me a huge feeling of movement going on. Yeah, and particularly DNA is never still. It's always, it's always being fed from information from the outside of the cell into the cell, and then it gets influenced by the RNA that comes in. So it definitely has it's always being updated all the time. This is about updating and dating, or even backdating stuff which we probably don't need anymore. But it's all there in the present of. Yeah. And it does look like a woman dancing to me.
Oh, that's.
I look at it.
Or like a flower as well.
Yeah.
So like a rose, like a blooming rose.
Yeah.
Very nice. And it's like the last day before last, like middle, it stands like from the middle word of the ninth circle.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we are like complete.
Yeah.
And she's the one from the physical realm. So I'm sure it makes sense that we are all like trees. Our spine and all the nadis and everything are really formed like trees, and like the DNA in between.
Yeah. And yes, and we have our trunk is kind of like the space of our body where everything kind of goes up and down in the sense of our spine. So in a tree, everything has to go from roots to the leaves, basically, and everything's moves through the middle. It has to go through the middle. It has to go through, in essence, her. If you look at her, everything's going through the DNA, the middle part of her.
Exactly.
So like definitely represents the middle world. Yeah.
And like the trunk which goes in the roots and connects us to the
Yeah.
blooming, flowering selves on the top. Nice one. So very welcome.
Beautiful.
Today, the
good one for today, to be supported.
Yes.
And to be held. Very important for us today. Do you want to say the affirmation?
Yes. So she stands for development. The affirmation, I allow growth and development. Supports all new developments, projects, ideas, experiences, so that they manifest without any difficulties. Should I put on the candle for the supporter?
I think so, yes.
Whilst we wait for the genius report. So may all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness and health. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled and healthy. So be it.
Yeah.
And so it is.
I just want to put the affirmation in. So it's actually written in before I do. I allow growth and development. Okay. Healthy growth.
Healthy growth, yes.
That's what I want, not just growth and development, because in this case, I do not want cancer cells to grow. I want healthy cells to grow for you. And we're putting healthy in there. Okay. Okay. So the energy, let me just put this there so you can see it. Right, so this is quite green here, which you're probably not really seeing, but there's blue and there's sort of a pinky purple there, but actually it's more, it actually is quite pink, and this is all quite pink around there. And there's lots of other colors because there's goldy orangey, and there's white here. So it's quite, it feels still quite spiritual in the sense of there's quite a lot of very light white energy in it. Mm-hmm. It's not a dull energy. So it's not like, you know, yesterday wasn't dull, but it was just that there was more of a homogeneous. This feels like there's a higher frequency energy sitting in that whole orbital, but there are these extra colors that are around. So it feels quite nice.
They're like clouds.
Yeah.
Which I see from my end is like two clouds, of one little one and one bigger one.
Yeah, one being the bigger one. Yeah. But this one's also got some pink around it as well. So they're having a discussion with each other. It feels like for me, it feels like a very flowing kind of aura picture today for me. It feels it's flowing, and it feels like there's lots of trying to think. There's in some of the elementals we have there, you know, there's certain kinds of what they call devas, elementals, and it feels like there's a lot of elemental energy sitting in this here. I have to show you a picture of an elemental someday. I used to see them as a child. They're really beautiful. So it feels as though there's a lot of talking, like there's a lot of presence. Is what it feels like. There's a lot of, it's not like there's foreign entities, but it feels like there's I hate the word entities, but they are like these moving spirits around for me when I look at this image. You know, openings of new things and so I'll have a look and see what happens after a balance.
So have you got the tarot, or should I do an oracle first?
Do your one first, and I'll then, while you're doing that, I'll focus on the tarot, focus on I allow growth and healthy development. Healthy growth and healthy development. What's best?
But just now, when you said like they're leading a conversation, what came to me, I just wanted to mention, because yesterday is the birthday of my very dear mentor who passed away last year, Barbara McSabbath. She would have turned 90 today on the day. So, and she is my known of the future. That's how I always perceive her when she enters my field now, since she passed over to other realms. And it feels,